Hello, class. Thank you for joining me today. This week, we get to discuss Catherine and her coachee and look at their coaching session. Our focus is going to be on the ICF core competency of co-creating the relationship. The elements that we're going to particularly look at today are establishing and maintaining agreements, cultivating trust and safety, and finally, maintaining presence. Catherine does a wonderful job showing us what it is to be a coach and what an effective coaching session looks like. So let's dive into what we learn. The first thing is establishing and maintaining agreements. Catherine does a wonderful job here by allowing and inviting the coachee to share what's on their mind. Catherine also uses a component of time initially to set the stage, allowing the coachee to understand that there's a limited time between them to discuss this topic. This element of time is important, and I believe it helps move the conversation forward and helps potentially to build positive momentum. Additionally, Catherine doesn't just talk about the dilemma or the conversational point that the coachee presents. She actually presents the coachee the idea of what it looks like to be a successful session. This humble inquiry helps us set the stage for the rest of the session. When they come to this term, they identify that it's not just about great ideas. It's also with components of action that are linked to accountability. By doing this, they sculpt the session. Catherine here is providing the keys to the session for the coachee. Now the coachee is in the driver's seat of the session, getting to lead it forward. And she does a wonderful job here. So let's talk about the second part, cultivating trust and safety. So the first thing that Catherine does is she asks the coachee how she's doing. As simple as this sounds, this is immense. This is effective and great. She's showing that she has interest in the well-being of the coach, or the coachee, I mean. And by doing so, it's opening her up to know that somebody's caring for her, creating that safe space. She also is relating and validating the coachee. When the coachee presents personal anecdotes, Catherine says things like, "I understand." And this is what helps build the rapport and the trust and the relatability. She also goes into the history of what the coachee is talking about. Leading forward into the session, they talk about old habits with old circumstances. This is regarding the parents, or particularly the mothers, living within the home. And they no longer live in the home during this discussion. So Catherine helps the coachee link the old habits are still aligned, are now linking to the new circumstances where the parents, both the mothers, no longer live in the home. Yet they still have the same sentiment, the same feeling of responsibility. And that is one of the things that they discover. Finally, in this part is Catherine does a good job by sharing how she's honored that the coachee is able to open up and show commitment towards the successful session. And this goes a long way as well. Because if this is not the only session, this is going to lead up to more trust and more openness and honesty for the next sessions. So lastly, we're going to talk about maintaining presence. So in this particular aspect of the coaching session, let me see if I remember correctly. Catherine does a great job of paraphrasing, so restating what is said and framing it in a different way so the coachee can hear their own thoughts just in a different way or from a different person. This helps the coachee understand that Catherine is there, that she's present, and that she's listening. One of the biggest things I took away from this session was Catherine also used silence effectively as the biggest tool that I've ever seen used. I didn't know silence could do such great work. She didn't rush the session. She allowed the coachee to start to self-discover and self-assess the situation. And when the moments were there for Catherine to open up and share her perspective and thoughts, she showed genuine curiosity, pushing the the coachee to think in a different way or see the situation in a different way. And I think that was great and very effective. And another component that I really took into consideration is Catherine, even though she didn't use the words, she expressed things non-verbally, unless you consider sounds verbally. But she used a lot of like, and then like physical head nodding. These are signs of agreement or being attentive. And I think that was a great way of connecting with the coachee. Okay, so let's go into what I think she did well and what I think she didn't. So overall, I think that the best thing she did was creating a safe space and also creating a lane for the coachee to express herself, and also using silence as a tool to allow the coachee to start to think of the situation and to actually self-discover the solutions for herself. There were moments where Catherine did insert some critical aspects of thinking, which helped lead to other ways of seeing the situation, which I thought were important. But I think the overall best thing that I saw was the tool of silence, allowing the coachee to self-discover. Now, in this session, it was really hard to find anything that was actually wrong. My limited knowledge of coaching until this point, I thought it was a great session, a very effective session. But if I could give any kind of feedback as far as something that wasn't maybe optimal, I think there could have been some maybe different techniques. Or if we looked at other core competencies, maybe there was things there. But focusing on the three elements of establishing and maintaining agreements, I think that was great. Cultivating trust and safety, I think she did that amazing. And then maintaining presence, she was there, she was involved. There was not a moment where she was out there like trying to seek something further than what was happening in them now. So I think she did a wonderful job holding a safe space and a curious space at that. I guess what I can present to you is, what did y'all think? Did you notice any examples on the competencies that I missed? Please share. Looking forward to discussing with you. Thank you.